Hey, before we get started, I just want to let you guys know about my comic Dark Phantom. Issues 1 through 6 are available now on Gumroad, and 1 through 5 are out now on Comixology, with 6 joining them soon. We've worked really hard on them, and it would mean a lot to me if you would check it out. Thanks, and let's get on with the video. So, DC fandom sorta just happened, right? Okay, I'm a little bit late, but I have thoughts on it, damn it. Let's start with a lightning round. The Batman looks great, just please don't have Batman be killing people and don't have Riddler find out his secret identity, and this could easily be my favorite Batman movie ever made. The Flash movie continues to show that DC is completely unaware that any Flash stories exist other than Flashpoint, but that's okay because that movie's never coming out anyway. Wonder Woman 1984 looks good. I thought the first movie was just kinda good too, so this one looks just about the same. The Snyder Cut looks like a DC film directed by Zack Snyder, so I can already tell that means I probably won't like it. But okay, let's talk about the thing that really made me want to make this video, the Suicide Squad. Well, yes, the Suicide Squad and the Suicide Squad. DC, think of a better name for your movies, please. DC's had a very interesting relationship with Task Force X in the past few years. Back in 2016, they were desperate to make a cinematic universe that could rival Marvel. I think they saw the success of Guardians of the Galaxy, got dollar signs in their eyes, and said, okay, what characters do we have who are like them? And for some reason, they landed on the Suicide Squad, even though they were absolutely not the right choice at all. I'm sure they were like, oh yeah, a team of bad guys who are really just a bunch of lovable rapscallions who bicker and argue but ultimately form an unlikely family and save the day as heroes. That's the Suicide Squad, when really that couldn't be further from the truth. The Squad are bad people. Hardened criminals and supervillains who for the most part don't have a lovable heroic bone in their bodies. Their role in the DC universe is to do jobs that the Justice League won't do and that the government can't be seen doing. They should be sent out to a third world country to take out a warlord or assassinate a dictator, not a US city to save the world from Cara Delevingne as a belly dancing witch. Another thing that the first movie got wrong is that the team is supposed to be disposable. I mean, they're called the Suicide Squad for a reason. They should be composed of D-list villains that nobody will miss or ask questions about if they suddenly go missing forever. But let's take a look at the lineup from the 2016 movie. Deadshot and Captain Boomerang, they've been staples of the squad since its inception, so they're probably safe. Harley Quinn, she's one of DC's most easily marketable characters, so no way is she getting killed off. Killer Croc, he's been in enough animated shows and video games that mainstream audiences will recognize him, so he has a low chance of dying. Katana, she's not even a villain, I don't know what she's doing here. And that leaves the obvious cannon fodder. Yeah, I have no idea what they were thinking by filling the Suicide Squad up with such a small roster of very recognizable characters. Part of the fun of the Suicide Squad is that anyone can die at any moment for any reason, which kinda disappears when everyone was able to guess which characters would get killed off before the first trailer even came out. But fast forward to 2020 and the big reveal of the Suicide Squad, and suddenly every single problem I have with the first movie has been fixed. Ironically, in 2016 they were trying to rip off Guardians of the Galaxy, but now that they actually have the guy who made Guardians of the Galaxy in the director's chair, it seems like they're making an actual Suicide Squad movie. The last one had too small a roster of characters that were too mainstream. Well, this one is jam-packed with A-list celebrities playing D-list villains. Peter Capaldi as the Thinker, Pete Davidson as Blackguard. If you come into my comment section saying that you knew who Blackguard was before this cast was announced, I will personally hunt you down, show up at your house, and tell you to your face to stop lying to me. This guy is very upset that Polka Dot Man is in the movie. Oh, remember my video about how there aren't enough Superman villains in movies? In that video, I just assumed Idris Elba would be playing Bronze Tiger, but here they confirm that he's actually playing Bloodsport. That's a Superman villain! And Mongal's there too, even though she's more of a Superman-adjacent villain than an actual Superman villain. True, we're not gonna see them actually fighting the Man of Steel, but us Superman fans gotta take our victories when we can get them. And Nathan Fillion is playing TDK, who to my knowledge is not from any DC comics. The popular theory is that he's actually playing Arm Fall Off Boy since his logo looks like his arms have come off and their helmets look similar. I assume TDK stands for the Detachable Kid or something, but all his teammates are just gonna call him Arm Fall Off Boy. Okay, I'm about to get sidetracked, but I gotta talk about Arm Fall Off Boy. Everyone parades him around as this ridiculous relic from the Silver Age of comics, something that was completely absurd, and how could it ever have been taken seriously? It's these 3 panels that get posted on every top 10 dumbest DC characters list. But what they don't show you is the rest of that page, which shows that he was never actually taken seriously and he was created as a joke. Look at all of you giggling over your supposed superiority over silly little comics, when really 'tis the comics who are giggling over the superiority to you. Ha! I think I blacked out for a second there. What was I talking about? Oh yeah. This cast and character lineup makes it feel like any of these people could die unceremoniously at any time. The only exceptions are Captain Boomerang, since he's been a staple of the Suicide Squad since its inception, and he's a very important presence on the team. On a team of despicable people, Boomer is the most despicable, and he'll double-cross, backstab, and lie to his own squad mates, often resulting in their deaths if it means he gets out alive. I think that's a very important character to keep around on a team like the Suicide Squad. And then there's her. Look, I haven't been a fan of Harley Quinn for a while now. The only time I really enjoyed her was in Batman the Animated Series. Every appearance from her since then has ranged from meh to ugh. I don't know why, but ever since the New 52, Harley has become permanently attached to the Suicide Squad, even though she is way too popular to be there and thus drains a lot of the stakes out of it. I guess DC needs their merchandising machine. Oh well, she seems to be taking a smaller role in this movie, and at least her costume looks great. She's actually wearing her original red and black color scheme this time. I'm looking at you, Birds of Prey. And they ditched that cringeworthy Daddy's Little Monster shirt. Ugh. Oh, and as far as the stakes go, we still don't know the official plot of the movie yet, but they've said it's gonna feel like a 70s war movie, so that's promising. James Gunn has said that his main source of inspiration is John Ostrander's original comic run, and oh my god, do you know how good it feels to hear a director of a DC Comics movie crediting an actual comic that isn't The Dark Knight Returns as the source material they're pulling from. My one concern is that James Gunn is gonna do what he always does and lean way too hard into the comedy, but overall this looks like a step in the right direction for the Suicide Squad. And then Rocksteady revealed their new Suicide Squad game. In this game, the lineup of the squad is small and made up of popular and mainstream characters. And their mission is to save the world. Oh boy. Now I like Rocksteady. They made 2 of my favorite games of all time in Batman Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. But in recent years, ever since Paul Dini stopped writing for them, they seem to have lost their way. I had fun with Arkham Knight, and I'll admit it's the Arkham game I've 100%ed the most of any of them, but the writing definitely seemed to take a steep drop in quality. And just from the first impression of this game, I am not confident that it will be any better here. Rocksteady is saying that this game takes place in the same universe as the Arkham games, and unless Deadshot had a Punisher moment, that doesn't seem to be the case. Chalk that up to sloppy continuity management. But what is this obsession DC has with making the Suicide Squad out to be humanity's last line of defense if Superman ever went rogue? Talk about trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. Except this time they're kicking it up a notch. Instead of fighting a Justice League level threat, they're straight up taking on the Justice League. Oh boy, another story where Superman is evil. What a clever and subversive twist upon my expectations. Who needs a hopeful and optimistic story about a man with ultimate power who never gets corrupted by it and instead uses it to save lives and make the world a better place? When you could instead just make him a bad guy who punches people until they die and make things explode with his laser eyes. Yeah, I know he's being mind controlled by Brainiac. That doesn't suddenly make it good. It especially sucks because, like I said, this is supposed to take place in the Arkham game continuity. We've been waiting for years to see that world open up into a greater DC universe, and when it finally does, we get this? A world of corrupted heroes and Superman killing innocent civilians? I don't know, maybe it'll be like Arkham Knight where the gameplay's fun even though the story kinda sucks, but this just tells me that DC hasn't really learned their lesson with the Suicide Squad, and they just got lucky with James Gunn. It's like they really wanted their own Guardians of the Galaxy, but when the Guardians of the Galaxy guy actually got to direct a movie, he said, no, this is going to be a Suicide Squad movie, to which DC said, yeah, that's fine, just do whatever you did to make Disney so much money. And then they went to Rocksteady and said, Guardians of the Galaxy, you get it. I don't know why I care so much. It's not like I'm this huge Suicide Squad fan or anything, but I think when they get misused like this, the entire DC universe suffers as a result. I mean, just look at how Rocksteady is treating Superman. I don't want to end this video on a negative note though, so look how good the costume design is in the Suicide Squad. Oh my god, Polka Dot Man looks so good. And look at Peacemaker. I don't want to hear anyone say the comic book costume would have been too hard to adapt into live action ever again. There is no longer any excuse. Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this video, consider liking and subscribing. If you really like me, consider giving me $1 on Patreon. Follow me at ClassActJack on Twitter for updates. Links to everything in the description. I think I'm gonna take a break from videos for a month. My last few videos have felt a bit more like a chore than they used to. I'm still happy with them, I'm just feeling a little burnt out and want to take a little me time without the constant feeling over my head that I could be working, you know? Anyway, I won't be gone long. Probably a little over a month at the longest. I'll see you guys next time.